your self-belief is much stronger today. And it's stronger because that's the process that you move through as you decide to evolve, self-actualize, or develop self-mastery, which is what we're all meant to do. And I was meant to tell you that today. That was the message that came through Wilhelm on this date last year. You'll see that it's all organized. You were not an accident. That's the other thing I was meant to tell you, because you exist in the world now, precisely at this time, to actualize something within you that would make your life really wonderful and cause our world to become what it could be. We each have that ability, but we don't always recognize it or understand it or accept it. And that would be the reason that you might feel a little out of sorts in your life now, or we're looking at the world and looking like it's a little chaotic. But that's because you're here. And that's because you were meant to change it. You were meant to change all of it by becoming who you could be. Yesterday, I posted a video and a blog. You are now given permission to be yourself. And that is the one thing that sometimes we have a little difficulty doing, and I certainly did. But that means I was supposed to help you not fall into that trap and become yourself and do what you came to this world to do. We each have a role to play in life, and we don't understand what it's going to be or even how it's going to unfold at times. But we each have it. And I've said it often, but now I know why I say it. But there is organization in your life and in our universe. Nothing is happening accidentally. It's all energy and consciousness, and we are the ones who are directing it. We are directing it within ourselves when we decide to do that, and when we develop the skills and abilities and talents to do so. When I wrote that article is because I wanted to explain things to myself the same way that you do. How did I do this? How did I bring in this work that could change anyone's life and change our world? I always had the feeling from a young child that was going to be something that I might do. I didn't think that I was going to be the one to receive it, but the fact is I did. And so what I also discovered, which is in the post that I put up yesterday, being a savant was one thing, and that was something that I really had to kind of accept. But the other part of it, being a genius, that took even longer. But now I know that I'm going to accept that, because it's the only manner in which I can fulfill my purpose and be able to help so many others. When I was first told that I was going to do this work, I was doing so many other things in my life. But in 2021, when I'm told that I'm meant to bring in this work that could cause so many to live really great lives, I go, why would I do that? And because I thought it all the way. I said it couldn't have possibly happened. And then it started being shown to me, no, this is an organized thing that's coming through, because it's only consciousness that is changing. And so what we're looking at and experiencing in our lives and in the world is a shift in consciousness. And the reason that I was told to look at the messages I was given in 2012, because that was another shift in consciousness, collective consciousness, which then affects us all. We don't come into the world knowing anything. We just learn it. And we have programming, though, that has told us what is possible or what isn't. And I was living under the assumption that certain things weren't possible, because how was I performing, experiencing mind-body healing? How was I self-actualizing, understanding life mastery, and understanding all of these ideas? And then I'm writing them down. And I spent 37 years writing them down and living them and then proving them. But now we're at a place where we have to take that next step. And so because our self-belief is much stronger, we can take the next step. And that's what I'm doing. And tomorrow you will see that I said that after tomorrow things are changing, because I have developed or been given the most extraordinary gift in the world that could cause any person to become their best self. It doesn't matter who you are, again, because it's all consciousness. We don't fit into little neat boxes when we come into the world, and I certainly didn't. When I was quite young, um, people thought my class, my teachers, thought something was wrong with me because I was daydreaming. That was the bad thing. I was daydreaming, not knowing that what I was doing was receiving information. And then I went back and forth in my life fighting the fact that that was happening because I knew that there is a greater consciousness that connects us all. And I knew that if more people could understand that, things would be different for them and for our world. And I was the one who was given that information. And it came through in a philosophy, and it's a living philosophy, meaning that every person contributes to it when they decide to own who they are and take the next step on their evolutionary path. And that's always about moving past some restriction, some limitation, some idea that told us we weren't enough, some idea that told us we were inconsequential, that we didn't matter. We all have it programmed in us somewhere, but we have to decide when we're going to move through it. And then when we don't, we start to experience this difficult these difficult patterns emerging in our lives. And we'll suffer in some particular way because we're not willing to own what we've been given. And you'll see that in the messages today because I put up 3 days because I needed to understand how did I receive this information over all of these years, and it's all organized and it all keeps leading to a higher consciousness in each person if they were to use it. That's exactly what's happened, and it's now been demonstrated and proven and shown. But we won't all do that. That was the other thing that was given to me, the understanding. As we're looking at our world, we're seeing people making very different choices and believing something quite different than what you might believe. So then it becomes your responsibility to own who you are and what you've come to believe, and your sense of whatever that might be. If you have uh, um, a consciousness or a moral compass or whatever it might be, that's only going to be what you decide, and it's what's within you, and it was part of your evolutionary path. Mine was to bring in this work. And as you read through the messages, and this has been challenging for many people to understand because we've never seen it done before. In the article, I put down what was discovered. I had this blend of being the savant and genius at the same time, and that was different because there were just different classifications that we've thought about in these realms. I was something quite different. And this is why, even when I said I wasn't a regular channel, I wasn't out doing channeling as you might have thought of it, I was documenting the consciousness racing of our universe. That's really what was happening. And the more of us who decide to embrace it, then we see something very different. We are here to change the world. That's you, that's all of us. It's never one person. We think over years that certain people are controlling things. That's never what happens. It's our consciousness that controls everything. And so from the beginning of when I began receiving these messages, I'm given information about changing consciousness because that's the power that you have that's within you. And so then when you come to that place, you start to experience a more insight, more awareness, more clarity, and healing. And healing means that you just come together within yourself and do what you came to the world to do. Mine was to receive this information and to give it to others so you live this really wonderful life. That's why it says on my website, I know what you can achieve. And this was not easy. I wrote an article some time ago. It's on my blog post. I said, The Curse of Being Me, because I knew that I could see things and I couldn't explain why I could see it and why I could see it in each person, why I know who you are. I developed something different, but you did as well. And so this is what my life was, to give you something that you can develop the greatness that within you so you live this really wonderful life. As you read the last couple of days of the blog post, you will see exactly what I mean. And you'll also see how I fought against myself and I didn't believe and I wasn't going to have that self-belief, but now I do, because you can't unsee certain things. You can't come to this awareness and go back to who you used to be. So this is why I am changing, and I invite all of you to join us. We're doing wonderful things because what's happening is that collectively we're working through the blockages, the restrictions, the things that told us we couldn't become the people or the world that we wanted to see. And that was the one thing that Wilhelm was always saying in our channeling sessions. The world you want to see is not guaranteed. That means that we have to do something. And this work allows you to do something, and that is become your greatest self. That I do know. That's why it's guaranteed, and that's why I can now own this gift I've been given to be able to give it to you because I know who you are. All right. Please check all the work. Subscribe to the channel if it's your first time and share this with others. I want so many more people to come into this work, and now is a perfect time to do it because anyone can afford it. Anyone can do it, and we do it day by day, and we do it a bit at a time, and that's how self-actualization occurs, and that's how you develop self-mastery, and that's what you want more than anything, and that's what this work will give you. All right, I will see you real soon.